Andrew Tate, how did he go viral? Help me out, David. Controversial.
Did you clap? Did you clap already? Did we start?
We're good.
We can talk about Andrew Tate if you want to.
Andrew Tate's I don't understand at all. The guy is literally talking about women like they are a piece of trash. And all these men are clapping him for like grabbing masculinity back. That's basically what it is. And the dude says the most astronomical, unfathomable comments about people in general.
Yeah.
Help me out here. How did he get so popular? He has a course, right? That was the way he made his first. What kind of course does he even sell?
So that's not how he first made his money. He first made his money being a kickboxer.
Kickboxer. I saw because now Logan and Jake Paul want to fight him.
Yeah.
Of course
So
they do.
kickboxing.
$50 million check right there.
So Andrew Tate is a perfect, mirror, I think, for so much of what is going on in the world today. Is that there's a lot of people that have had this rapid, fame and stardom, and especially through the frame of social media. But what's really intriguing is that it's typically the people that are the most controversial, the most polarizing, the most outlandish of opinions and thoughts. And,
Trump.
Right. You take Trump, and regardless of what side of the aisle you fall on, it's really hard to not pay attention. And he was everywhere for a very, very, very long time, not just as president, but even leading up to that. So Andrew Tate is one of those individuals that I try incredibly hard not to judge from the outside based on micro content, in the same way that I hope that, excuse me.
It's okay.
In the same way that I hope that people don't draw character conclusions from out of context snippets, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of went down this rabbit hole of really looking at his different content because I was similar. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this guy. I've heard so many clips that I'm just like,
punch him in the face.
I want to punch this guy in the face. And
then he'll roundhouse kick me
right,
in the
he'd
face.
probably put me in my own grave, knowing how good he is at fighting. But just made me sick, made me really, really bothered, especially seeing how many people were for some of the ideologies that he had. But then there was other stuff that I heard him say that I was like, this feels like the complete opposite of what you just said. Who is this guy? What does he really stand for? What is he really all about? And that's the challenge of social media, is that a lot of times people aren't fully contextualizing who we are. They don't know all the details and backstory. And so what I will say is this, is what has come out.
He got banned
I like the claims. There's a lot of claims around human sex trafficking. There's claims around abuse, particularly physical abuse towards women. There's a lot of things that he's very explicitly claimed that he's done, and he believes what a man's role is versus a woman's role. And what I would say is that if you look at, because I like to read people, and I have to be careful with this. If I look at that individual, Andrew Tate or otherwise, I see a man who is incredibly confident in who he is, but some would interpret it as arrogance. But I don't see a man of peace. I don't see a man of joy. I don't see a man who has depth in relationships. I don't see a man that, and this might be too harsh of a judgment, that he has people that he could call that would genuinely be there for him if it wasn't for some form of transactional something.
I feel like when I watch this stuff, it feels like a modern day mob boss.
Yeah.
It just kind of acts like he's got this kingdom and all the peasants are under him. And
I will tell you, from a marketing perspective, there are some useful things to recognize and learn, is that it's incredibly important, particularly for business owners, or if you're building a personal brand or whatever, is that polarity and polarizing people is very powerful. We've all heard that old adage, is that, all publicity is good publicity, right? If you can stomach it, right? Because there's a lot of people with a lot of very strong opinions about who this man is. But I will say, on the business side, what he did is, in order to rapidly scale his business, he brought in his students, and what he taught them was not only his business model, but he set them up as affiliates. And so what they would do, and this is why he went so viral so fast, okay?
He was everywhere. I could not.
Everywhere. All of a sudden, it's just like...
Every clip was Andrew Tate. It was nuts, honestly.
And so what he did is that he basically weaponized his audience for him. And so what he would do is he'd say, take this whole batch of 150 pieces of content that my team has created. You go create a social media channel and you start pushing this stuff out. And if people go to your link in bio, because you can talk about it, and they buy through your affiliate link, you make money, right? So you got all these 18, 19, 20-year-old kids that are like, oh, Andrew Tate, like he's a BA and he's driving a Bugatti or whatever, right?
His accent's crazy
and
weird.
so you look at it and it's really intriguing to see that when you do have a diehard community of people that are raving fans, that is that's incredibly powerful from a business perspective, but that doesn't mean that I align with what I understand, his ethics, his morals, his values, and general character. But I would say this too: I don't know the guy.
Yeah.
And the hard part about social media, especially in this cancel culture that we live in, and things around like free speech and whatever, it's hard. It's hard to know. Okay, if you have an individual that seems to be toxic in this way, what is the right decision? Do you let them speak and allow society as a whole to accept or condemn the individual? Or do you silence them, which is what has happened, right? And it's a very challenging thing to consider.
Well, to piggyback on that, did you watch the Manti Te'o, Netflix documentary? No? Mm-mm. So if you remember Manti Te'o, he was a linebacker at Notre Dame. Do you remember him?
I don't remember him.
Okay, so Mantateo was one of the top recruits.
Sports guy, man.
Yeah, I watched it this weekend and the one night when I was working, and he was the middle linebacker at Notre Dame when they lost the national championship, and raised Mormon, strong faith the way he sees it, and really good guy, known guy. Well, he was one of the first famous people to get catfished, and before the show Catfish blew up, and he was the runner-up in the Heisman Trophy to Johnny Manziel, ironically. And it came out right before the draft. He played his senior year. They lost to Alabama, if I remember right. And some reporter from Deadspin found out and blew up his spot, and he had no idea he was being catfished. Wow. And they found out somehow. And basically, he was known as like this golden boy of Notre Dame, super nice guy. Kids loved him. And then all of a sudden, everyone thought he because the story was that his girlfriend actually died. It was his girlfriend that was catfished. He catfished them. So everyone thought he used it to get Heisman votes, right? And to make himself look great. Yeah. And it just showed the documentary of how it affected him and the truth behind it, that he had no clue. The response from the public, I've been reading Twitter, and is like total opposite of Andrew Tate. Wow. Is, I can't believe we as the media took clips and ran with it. I can't believe we didn't get the full story. Yeah. So it's ironically the exact opposite. Is we should have asked more questions. We should have got more answers. Yeah. The
reason I'm hesitant is, Alex, we seem to have migrated from this. You know the old adage, the innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, guilty until proven innocent.
Now it's you're guilty until you prove that you're innocent.
That's how he was, and it cost him millions of dollars. He actually dropped in the draft. He was a surefire mid to late first round pick, which guarantees you $10 to $15 million, no matter if you play it down in the NFL. He dropped to the second round, which gives you somewhere between $2 and $5 million guaranteed. So this person who was sick in the mind, the person who did this, cost him a lot of money. And just the way he handled it with grace, you should watch it. He handles himself with such grace and poise. And his image, exact opposite, that's why I'm saying it was bolstered by this, right? Yeah. And kind of tying this to business and integrity, if you will, or image, you only have the truth to go to war with. Yeah. And you can make up a persona. You could drive an F-350 that's jacked up. You can add all these things to your life, whether you're a business owner, maybe you're making six figures at your job and you want to be the cool guy with the truck in the parking lot with the boys as we all go clock in, whatever it is, right? The truth is still there, whether it's come out or not, whether you took out a down payment on your house to buy this truck, a home equity line, whether you're in debt up between your eyeballs, whether your marriage is terrible because you keep spending money on things you don't have the money to spend on, right? And that was what was so interesting about the Manti Te'o documentary is he just spoke the truth. This was like a pretty simple, raw documentary. Yeah. He spoke the truth, and it has repaired his image well above what it already was. Wow. Yeah. And yes, he went through a lot of pain. He should have came out. He stopped playing in the NFL a couple years ago. He actually played like 6-7 years in the NFL. He had a decent NFL, and the NFL stands for not for long. I don't know if you knew that. The average NFL career is like 2 seasons, 2 to 3.
Unless you're Tom Brady, right?
Unless Tom Brady, he's playing since the Ice Ages. Goodness, that guy is like a dinosaur, dude. He don't want to die, retire. It's incredible what Tom Brady's done. But anyways, like all you have is the truth.
Yeah.
And going back, we've talked about integrity on this, and it's convicting. It was convicting to me because this guy had the worst thing happen to him, right? He did nothing wrong, got tricked into loving someone that was actually a man, by the way. It was a guy. And thought she died, like terrible, right? And he turned it for good. And it really spoke to his character. And I don't know, I just challenge anyone listening to this, including myself, including you, is let's not let the truth be the truth. Don't fabricate. Don't try to be some persona, some influencer. You have lots of followers, David. I think you're over 500,000 across all platforms. Across ours, it doesn't matter, but we have probably 100,000, close 70,000. I don't know what it is. It's a lot, but who cares about that? Number one, if you're on TikTok right now and you're trying to gain followers, doesn't matter. Does not matter. You're not going to find peace, find joy, find anything that's lasting. Yeah. Or if you're buying, like I know people who buy followers to look at some way. So going back to the truth is it will come to light. You will be exposed for the good or the bad. Exposed like Manti was in the good way. Exposed in the bad. Andrew Tate just got blocked from Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, I believe, because he violated their terms of agreement. So I don't know. Anyways.
Well, so one thing that I would add to this is it's so incredibly important. We talked about association earlier, our network, right? And when it comes to integrity is that if you're not actively investing in relationships, like deep relationships, you're going to be standing there alone when someone accuses you of whatever it is. But if you have a community because you've invested in people, right? You've stood beside them. You've invested your time, your energy, your resource in developing those relationships. Like, for example, if something came out about Alex, right? I'm going to be standing there right next to him and be like, that's not the man that I know. Right. That's not the man that he is. That's not the man that I've seen. And so you don't have to carry that by yourself. But that only comes with this proactive effort of creating deep relationships.
That's a great point.
And I don't think that, in the day and age that we live in, you're going to have people accuse you of things. I have been called every single name in the book, like all the stuff that you would be embarrassed for grandma to hear on social media. And there's been those times like early on where I really... It bothered me. It hurt because I'm like, you misunderstood my heart or you misinterpreted this. And then I just realized like everyone is truly entitled to their opinion. But at the end of the day, am I at peace with who I am? And do the people that are nearest to me, my wife, my kids, my friends, my mom, my dad, my family, do they know the real me? And the people that I associate with, do they know the real me? And that goes back to what we were talking about with integrity, is that this is who I am, so this is what I do. And I want to create that everywhere that I go so that if and or when someone says something that's not true, they'll have this piece of evidence and then they'll have a whole book and people that can advocate and say like, that is not who this man is. Like, and we know it to be true, right?
I love that. So to kind of wrap that up, is the only way to have that laundry list of people that know you is to be known. And so I know a lot of people who own businesses live on an island without lawn chairs and without watermelon for their friends to come with. You got to be inviting is what I'm saying. You need to make yourself be inviting, and you need to invite yourself to be with others. I know my wife was in a season when we had our first daughter, Sage, our only daughter, Sage, but where, as a new mom, you're kind of like, so am I allowed to like ask people to go here? Do I wait for the invite? Right? There's like that new mom thing where you don't really know the rules and but you're playing the game and you're kind of trying to figure out like, what do we do with this bat here? Do we throw it through the goalpost? Like it's that weird thing. But once my wife really started thriving when she started not just inviting people to be with her, but inviting herself even going, hey, can I join this Bible study? Can I join this mom's group? Can I join, et cetera. And so I think there's a lot of people that always wait for others, but guess what? If you're waiting, so are they. And so you have to be the proactive person. And so when it comes to your network, make sure you're being proactive in who you're trying to surround yourself with. And that's what you're saying. David, I know, but this about you, you do that. You are always trying to surround yourself with people that sharpen you. And I've learned a lot from that. I joined a group a year ago that I was on the fence about, and because it cost a lot of money, it cost my time, and I didn't know any of these people. It's been one of the more rewarding things I've ever done.
Yeah. But that's a really good thing I want to highlight though real quick, Alex, is that if you feel like you're surrounded by people that you're like, gosh, this is not the network that I want to have. These aren't people that are causing me to feel like I'm growing and expanding and are dreaming and creating life, that a lot of times you have to pay to get into the right rooms. You have to be willing to take that risk and invest in yourself and put yourself out there. And, whether it's joining the Chamber of Commerce or a BNI group or going to conferences, going to events, joining a mastermind or being a part of something that's bigger than yourself, that life, I truly believe this with everything inside of me, is that life will give you what you demand of it. But when we frame that, it's looking through the lens of, if I want to be known, if I want to be a leader, if I want to be someone who's influential, and that is all built on a foundation of giving and serving and adding value. So when you go and you're trying to network with other people and build these relationships and create depth, that is all predicated on your heart focused on adding things to their life, not what you're going to get, not what you're going to take away, not what you're going to walk away with. You always focus on, I want to do everything within my power to leave this person better than when I found them.
I love that. So guys, David's left us with that. What can you add to someone today? In the comments today, talk about, share with us. Are you in a network? Are you looking? Are you searching? We can help put some resources, suggestions in front of you, but I think you probably know of one. You just have to take the step. So again, David, thanks for being on this episode. We'll see you next time, guys. Please make sure you do all the things: like, subscribe, comment, follow us, and share, so that we can help people. You can be encouraged. We can be encouraged. This is the Down to Business podcast. Tanner Kirby, David Waldy. See you next time.